Welcome to a quick demonstration of how you can enforce fine-grained policies through Immuta against your Databricks cluster and data. So as you can see here, we've got Immuta. This is our data catalog where we have exposed tables from Databricks. And this is where you can centrally manage what tables exist, who has access to them, and what policies can get enforced. So what I want to point out is I've got this other user, Eric. And Eric is logged into Immuta as well, but he sees no data sources, and this is because we have something called a subscription policy on them, which restricts who can access what tables. And in fact, if we go back and see, we've got this credit card transactions table, which I'm going to be working against here. If I pull back Eric's screen, I'm going to open up his Databricks notebook here, and if he tries to query this credit card transactions table, he's going to get an error here because he's not subscribed to it. So what we can do is I'm actually going to change the subscription policy on this. And we have lots of different options of how you do these subscription policies, but I'm going to switch it to users with specific groups or attributes. So I'm going to say anyone that has country US as a user attribute will be able to subscribe to this. And these attributes and groups can come from external systems like SAML, Active Directory, LDAP, you name it. So this removes manual approval workflows and manual grants to tables and does it through logic. So as soon as I save this policy, it's now in place. If I bring back Eric's screen and refresh it, you'll see now that this credit card transactions table is there. This might be of interest to Eric, so he hits get access to subscribe to it, and he's immediately subscribed because he has that country US attribute as part of himself. So if I go back here to Databricks and rerun this query, you'll now see Eric is able to see data. We can take this a step further, and let's say that we only want Eric to see rows where the transaction country matches a user attribute that he has. So Eric has US, France, and Great Britain as user attributes, but now currently he's seeing all transaction countries. So what we can do is go back here and build another policy, and we're going to say only show rows where user possesses an attribute country. Remember, Eric has US, Great Britain, and France. That matches a value in the column transaction country. And we can add exceptions to this based on groups or purposes, but I'm just going to do this for everyone. And we'll create this and save. And so now Immuta knows that this policy needs to be enforced. And we go back here to Databricks and run this exact same query. Immuta will natively enforce that policy in Databricks by rewriting the Spark plan. So you can see now that Eric can only see France, US, and Great Britain data in this data set. Let's also say that we wanted to mask the credit card number. So what we can do is I could build a policy directly in Immuta like this, where I could say mask using hashing and pick the credit card number. But this might be painful to do one table at a time, right? So what we can actually do is we have these things called global policies. And global policies are a way to use metadata or ontologies to build policies. So I'm going to call this mask CC, and we're going to say mask. And you can see instead of picking a literal column, we're saying columns tagged. And we have this discovered entity credit card number tag that has been applied to data that looks like credit cards. And we're going to do a regular expression, and I'm going to copy my regular expression and put it in here. So we're going to replace the last 4 digits with XXX, and let's just do this for everyone again. And so when I add this, it obviously says we want to do this against data sources with columns tagged credit card number, and you can see this applies to 1 out of 3 of my data sources. So I'm going to create this. If I jump back here and look at this credit card transactions, if we go to the policy tab, you can see that this mass credit card policy got sucked down and automatically applied. And that's because when the data was hooked in, we automatically discovered that this looked like a credit card number and tagged it. We can pull these tags in from other systems too, like a Calibra or a Big ID, and have those drive policies. So I come back here to Eric and rerun this query. You'll see that the last 4 digits are masked for me from the credit card number. And of course, all these actions are being audited, changing the policies, which queries are being run in Immuta. So that concludes our quick demo of the native integration of Immuta policies enforcing controls in Databricks.